like to thank the sponsors of the Coaches Show, Mena Insurance and Union Bank of Mena.
Hello, Bearcat fans, and welcome to this week's Coaches Show with head coach Craig Bentley. I'm Tate Mendoza. I want to first mention our sponsors, Union Bank of Mena, Mena Insurance. Those guys have been with us for a lot of years doing this show. I know, and they're big supporters of the community, but big supporters of the Bearcats as well. Well, Coach, as we sit here on Monday afternoon, it's a little cooler. There's a little rain. It kind of feels more fall than it does Arizona midsummer.
Right, a little bit fool's gold, I'm thinking, though. I saw the temperature is supposed to spike back up tomorrow. But
yeah, I think there's more to come with the heat.
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it.
A one-day relief sure helps. But, we saw live football last week, and that was fun. Had a couple teams come in for the junior high and senior high, Bismarck and Poto. So Bismarck, a really highly regarded 3A school. I think I saw them in the top 2 or 3, still in 3A.
Definitely a top team in the state for that classification, and would be in a 4A too.
Yeah, had good size. Poto, that's a program that's had a lot of success over the years. Kind of often, almost a bit like us, I would think.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have years where they're pretty strong, and then some years where maybe they fall off a little bit, things like that. But town kind of the same size as us, kind of the same dynamics of kids and things of that nature. So it was a good scrimmage, I felt like. I did want to say this, what I noticed, and we don't talk junior high a lot, but I do know there's a new hire at that spot.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised
really
with how that junior high looked.
Yeah, Coach Gunn and then Coach Adams as well, too. Devin Adams, 2 former Bearcats, kind of leading the charge there. Coach Morris has stepped up to kind of be the mentor type for them, and then Coach Lutmer is steady as they can be, and they've all done a really good job. Our numbers are a little bit lower than what they have been in that 9th grade class. Every one of them showed up every day this summer. They play physical, and I think that's what excites us the most. Is we noticed early on that they were going to be a physical group, and they were going to be a group that showed up every day. And if you can do those 2 things, you can win here at Mena.
Sure. So. I'm a guy that I've been around it a lot. I've been around it enough to understand somewhat what I'm looking at. I'm not like you guys or say my brother who just got out of it, but I can watch, and in a scrimmage it's hard. I think you can tell one thing though is how prepared do you look. Mm-hmm. And those guys look prepared. I mean, they're 8th and 9th graders. There's several 8th graders running out there for him, I know. But he had some really good-looking skill guys. We looked pretty decent on size. But I think anytime you plug a new guy in, a young guy, it's fun to see. They looked prepared. They looked like they were ready for the moment, and they were ready to play football. So I know, like I said, we don't talk a whole lot of junior high, right, but I wanted to shout those guys out. I thought they looked really prepared. Looked like they were ready to be there and play a ball game.
Yeah,
so it was fun to see.
They've done everything we've wanted out of them more as coaches, and I think they're going to have a chance to have a very good year for sure. They're young for sure. A lot of 8th graders, like I said, our 9th graders are class is a little bit lower. There's some pretty talented 9th graders helping lead the way in that too, and we're young as coaches too. So overall, it's all in that group minus Coach Lutmer. It's a pretty young group, but they're fiery, they're hungry, they work hard, and they're going to be prepared and get after it.
Sure. Well, good problem to have. I mean, be young, but still they look the part. Switching over to you guys, man, we talked. I think it helps with the consistency and the staff you've got, but kind of steady as usual. I mean, things I'm sure you want to correct and things of that nature, things coaching points, but, you came out, you lined up, you look like everybody looked the part. Everybody looked like and you plugged in some new guys in some spots that are pretty critical too.
Right, and I think you nailed it on the head. I think we started out slower than we would have liked against Bismarck. I will say before I jumped into that, our JV guys did really well too. They got about they probably got 15 to 20 plays, and our backups and a lot of those guys that played in that JV portion are going to play some time, get some reps on Friday nights, and so I was really proud of how they played. I thought they did a good job, and leading into that scrimmage when we went to the quarters, we started out a little slow against Bismarck, and you do that against a good team, they're going to make you pay. I think a lot of that was showed our youth a little bit. I think our coaches were trying to fill out the players as well too, and it's the first time under Friday Night Lights, or it was Thursday Night Lights, but first time in that type situation that we're seeing each other and we're getting out there. And then we came out there in that 3rd drive and really put it together with 40 seconds to go, and then we got into Poto, and I was really proud of how we performed against Poto. And I think we put it all together against them on offense and defense, and we weren't playing to win a quarter. We weren't doing that. We were subbing in and out quite a bit. The main goal, too, is to get out of there healthy. So we pulled some guys a little bit early to make sure we could achieve that goal. But overall, very, very happy, excited that we got to play against some good teams. You don't want to get in there and just roll over somebody or, play someone that you're not matched up well against. And so it was fun to play that kind of format. That's never really. I don't know that I've ever been a part of that where you're playing one team one quarter and another team the next quarter, and just a cool. If you like football, it was a great night for football. Even though the lightning delay put us behind for a little bit, but we appreciate everybody who stayed back for that because it was a good crowd for us.
I was going to say there was a lot going on, a lot of moving parts once y'all finally got out on the field, probably 2.5 hours after when you should have started. I thought it was thought through very well how let's get junior high in, let's get the JV in, then let's get the senior high and get these folks back. Because actually I kind of told my wife, was like, it's a Thursday night. I mean, school tomorrow. It's not like a Friday, hey, we'll just get it all in best we can and prolong the evening. You kind of had to get it done and get those guys back on the road in a timely manner.
Yeah, and a big part of that's thanks to Bismarck coaches and Poto coaches who we were in contact all night trying to figure out, the different scenarios and situations that we even talked about going in the hack at one point and trying to play. And we didn't want to do that because people had already paid and we couldn't get everybody in there and do that. But even the thought that we had the option to do that.
I was going to say nice. I hadn't even thought about that, but heck of a thing to fall back on. I'm sure those guys were like, sure.
Yeah, but the officials too, I think, them sticking around and being willing to stick around and get us, because we can't do it if we don't have them. So I appreciate them sticking around and letting us get everything in and getting the work in. And when we were out there, we were, just as far as the format goes, super efficient. I thought ran well, and that's a testament to everybody, including Bismarck and Poto.
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I mean, I'm like you. I hadn't really heard of that going on for a scrimmage, but I enjoyed it. It was different to see. I think you saw a lot of more live bullet situation, things like that. But well, Coach, I'm sure you got a few highlights. Let's jump into those and see how that went.
Yeah, we'll run through a few. We started out slow defense. We probably would have been a little more aggressive in different situations. We kind of scripted out our first couple plays. Of course, you also don't know necessarily what they're going to line up and show up in. And the first two drives for Bismarck, we did a good job getting the advantage. We just didn't hold the advantage defensively. I think they were multiple, 10-plus play drives. And when you're doing, Coach Arnold said it, when you're doing something, you're making a team drive 10-plus plays before they go score, you're doing something right. This is just a good play here. I think it shows the potential where our defensive line is. 51 there is Drake Dodge. He's this low end. Then we got Wyeth Weber. That might be Ethan Anderson. I can't tell which one. But Stratton House up here on top, and they're just doing some really good things. Ethan's getting double teamed right there and not losing any ground. Drake gets upfield, but then he puts the brakes on to make the play. And Stratton, who's a sophomore, gets upfield unblocked, but then cuts down the line to make the play. Just a play you don't see out of sophomores a whole lot. So really excited where we're at. And I really like seeing everybody else get in on, getting the red hats to the ball. Good job by our other seniors getting up there. So just a good defensive play I wanted to throw out there and highlight some of those guys. You'll see that a lot. I mean, us get defensively, we were proud, like we said, we got them in tough situations, but you look at the reasoning behind it, we got a lot to learn. We got to understand situations. That quarterback for Bismarck's really good, returning all conference. Might have been an all-state kid last year. He made some really, really good throws and made some plays with his feet too. So,
and I thought they had good size for
good
for
size.
School.
And, good job here by our senior Max Dollarhide walking down here, playing a little bit of outside backer in hybrid position, and just does a good job of controlling his body, squaring up to make that tackle and bringing it down. And this is a sophomore, Carson Baber. Really excited about him playing linebacker, getting in there, and then Wyeth Weber up top at nose. Getting penetration. I mean, they're all over. I mean, you see them, they're holding him like crazy. And he's just fighting through that right here. There's three of them, actually, and he gets through to try to get up in it, too. So just some good things. Like we said, they jumped in and scored on their first two possessions. And, there's some things we got back. We got them in a 4th and long, and they completed a comeback. We got them in a scramble situation and didn't do a very good job catching that. And then we missed a couple tackles. But overall, there's a lot of, the things that went wrong in those two drives, a lot of it is correctable and things you can work through. This is right before half. We stall out in the first two series. We get the ball back with about 40 seconds left, and I love the urgency here. I think we had to run 6 plays up to this point, and we punted twice. A really good play out of our offensive line, out of our skill guys, a big fake. One thing I want to point out here is if you watch Chance here, who's our running back, who has a couple good runs that night too. He brings that hand up. He's selling that fake. Does a really good job selling the fake that allows us to get the ball out. Good throw by Hank here, and a good catch by senior Cole Schaubel. he's rotating in at tight end. He's made some big catches through the summer for us and done a good job. And so a big catch, gets hit, held onto the ball, doesn't go down, and moves the ball forward. And from there, that momentum really starts to feed when we see our next run here, which is quarterback sweep with Hank. And again, the urgency, the fire that we show trying to get better. Really good block out here by Andrew Throwkill at receiver. Really kind of springs it. And we tell the receivers, your block is the difference between a 5-yard gain and a 30-yard gain.
Sure.
And it was here. So good job by everybody. Stratton setting the edge. Luke and Chance out there leading the way too. Just a really good job, by everybody here. And then Hank doing what Hank does, throw an arm out there to tackle him. That's not going to work. And we get out of bounds here, and we run one more play. We run a quarterback draw. Really thought that was going to get in. They did a good job hitting it. We call timeout. 6 seconds left. We know we probably got one play. So we run a little play action pass here, and really good job by Hank here, standing into pressure and delivering a ball to Stratton House. Stratton is going to work in, and we mentioned him earlier. He's going to play some H for us too, and boy, love to see that right there, and not getting denied the end zone. Putting his shoulder down and running over that cornerback, which is what you should do to a corner coming up to try to tackle you if you're the fullback. So really good job by Hank stepping in there, some pressure, just making plays. Hank's going to have to make a lot of things that go wrong right, and he does it here. And then Stratton does a great job catching this ball and making a play. So really glad to see that at the end of the quarter. When the first 2 drives for us didn't go as well, and then we didn't hang our head or anything. We just went and made plays. Coach Dover did an outstanding job getting the plays called in, and Coach Valencia as well. Those 2 guys are meshing together really well. Coach Dover, I think I've had some people ask me and wondering where he's at since he's been on the sideline for 7 years. We're going to try him out in the box this year. I don't know if we've talked about that before. We maybe talked about it last week some, but Coach Dover is going to get in the box and still call the plays and relay them down to Coach Valencia, and Coach Valencia is taking a little bit bigger role too offensively. So it's a process we're working through and we're really excited about, and they did a really good job right here on this drive, getting us down there in 40 seconds to go score.
I was just going to make a mention of the house. I mean, he's got that house frame.
Mm-hmm. He does, and he's been really great. He's worked hard. He's been a good leader, and he's made plays, and
Sure.
He's going to go 90-0 every time, and you just can't coach that. Good job here. This is Dayton Miller in at quarterback. We'll bring him in some for a couple different reasons, because Dayton's can do. He plays receiver for us as well, but he does a good job at Q for us, and it also allows us to move Hank around at that point too, and put Hank in a lot of different situations. And so here's obviously a jet sweeper run out there to him and getting the edge with Hank, and some other good blocking out there that we see. I told Dayton, I said, be happy. Those are passing yards you get right there. It looks like it should be running, but
Sure.
that's passing yards for him. And we're excited to kind of advance that and let Dayton do his thing a little bit. And again, I was really happy with what we did against Poto. We stalled out, in a 4th and short situation. That was tough for us. We look at the reasons behind that, and we've got to be better. We can't be stopped on a 4th and 1. But other than that, man, we did some really good things. A hard run there by Chance. Chance had a ton of these hard runs to where, first contact wasn't bringing him down. So a great job staying up to get extra 3 or 4 yards and just running really hard. Chance is going to have a big year at running back too, and just running one of our base plays here. And a good job by Ryan Denton up here, just getting a guy pushed down and really owning that physicality of our buck sweep play. It got a little cloudy. We bounced a little bit. But, that's what Chance, being a senior, is able to do and get out in front of. Big play here. Balls in the air. We always say it's ours. So we got him in a long situation. We got him way behind the chains. We did not make Bismarck pay in this situation, and we made Poto pay. So, one thing that drives me nuts is when we get a chance for an interception, we drop the ball, because when you're playing really good teams and you get a chance to take that ball away and you let them get it back, they oftentimes will make you pay. So Jesse Zamora gets a chance here to get this ball and get in a good situation, and is able to get up and take it to the house. And so again, not just being satisfied with picking this ball off, but also finding a way to go get yards and go score. So everybody else too, good job. They see it and immediately they turn and go find somebody to block. That's Coach Arnold harps on that all the time. But that's kind of what's fun to me, as you can see when Jesse intercepts this ball here, you can see everybody's mind shift to, all right, now we're going to go block somebody and get him in the end zone. So, again, overall, other than the slow start, the two most disappointing things I think for us was that slow start against Bismarck, which I wasn't really disappointing. And I was really glad that we were able to overcome that. But the 4th and short situation we got into and got stuffed against Poto, can't happen, and we got to be better with that. But learning things, and we can look back at it and figure out, hey, we can do better. And again, we pushed some people out and subbed some people in and out during that drive too, and that lets you know, like, hey, when we need you to step up to play, you got to step in and play and get it done. Dayton did a good job with that. He came in. We took Hank out to rest him in that last drive, and Dayton came in and did a good job leading at Q, which we expect him to do some and make some big catches for us too. And we just got to finish drives there.
Yeah. That was one thing that, as a fan surprised me. You just touched on it, was the depth. A lot of different bodies, starting, let's say, but it seems like you got a lot of kids rotated in there, and there wasn't a whole lot of fall off, I didn't feel like.
No, yeah.
Because it didn't seem like Bismarck and Poto were doing that a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like they kind of stayed with their ones, and we got a lot of bodies in there, it seemed like everything kind of just smooth transition.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think that's a testament to our coaches, and we practice in that way. We make sure we got multiple guys prepped and ready, and yeah, we're going to have a lot of guys that end up helping us and making plays for us for sure.
And that says a lot for a kid like Dayton. I mean, he came out in spring, I know, but hadn't played football in 2 years, and to be able to do center Q exchange of the tee, things like that. I mean, the little pitch pass in front on the sweep, that's not a standard deal.
No, that's a timing deal. And he's not getting full time at Q. Most of his time is spent at receiver when he's at practice. No. But again, we make time to make sure that he gets those reps, because if we're asking him to go do those things without us having gotten him in the situation to practice those things, that's on us as coaches, not on him.
Right. So, no, I would agree.
Getting in there, and there's nothing that we saw from Friday night that sets off any kind of alarm bells. I think there's some things that, again, shows our youth, and I think that will continue to pop up as we face these situations. What's exciting to me, though, is those first 2 drives against Bismarck didn't go well. We come back and answer it in that 3rd drive. If we can keep doing that all year, this is going to be a really fun year for this group, to where they learn from it. They don't hang their head from it. They're ready to go make, they don't let one drive dictate the next 2 or 3 or 4 drives. And if we can keep doing that, then, it's going to be a fun year, and those guys will learn really, really fast.
And I think, as a fan, the things I can notice, were you physical, and how many penalties? Mm-hmm. Very few penalties, and appeared to be physical to me. And in a scrimmage, I think that's all you can ask for as a fan of you guys.
Played pretty clean. We did have the one pass interference penalty that gave Bismarck the advantage. That's one way that, Bismarck's a really good team, number one, but number two, you give a good team an out. Kind of like what I was talking about, those interceptions, they're going to make you pay. We had them in a tough situation. We hit a PI, and it was legit. I mean, the corner's hand was up on his shoulder pads, and they made us pay in that drive. We put them down there. But, clean, physical, and then we want to come out of it unscathed. We did have a few guys that were a little banged up, nothing serious, but, that's why we pulled them back pretty early in that Bismarck game some. And in the Poto portion of it, we played about a drive each with some of the guys, and then after that, we pulled some of them back to rest and get our other guys some work too.
Well, Coach, let's jump to this week. First, big game of the year. Traveled down to DeQueen, if I remember right. Mm-hmm. Played DeQueen pretty consistently that first game of the year for a lot of years now, it seems like. Got a pretty good little streak going against them, able to beat them 28-0 last year. That's last year. This is this year. But I think it does give you something to kind of strive for, like, hey, guys, let's not have a letdown. Let's start the year on a high note. We've been able to be successful against these guys for several years now. Let's kind of keep that going.
Yeah, every year's a new year. Every team's a new team, DeQueen and Mena. Someone asked me earlier, is it hard to keep them motivated for something like that? I don't think it necessarily is, especially with it being the first game of the year. Everybody's fired up in the first game of the year. I can tell you this, DeQueen's going to come ready to play. DeQueen's probably one of the better DeQueen teams we have seen out of them in a number of years. Their new head coach is doing a good job over there. I think they're going to be ready. They know how important this game is for them and their season. I think anytime you have a new head coach and you have some new hope and direction there, that first game is really important. And when it's against someone you hadn't beaten in a while, and for us too, it's our first time for a lot of these kids to play that full game on the Friday Night Lights, and it's going to be a good environment at D Queen. It's a tough place to play. It wasn't too long ago that we had to win on a field goal as time expired over there,
Yeah.
and that game took that season to a level that a lot of people didn't think it could get to. So, yeah, it's a big game. It's a rivalry game, and it's one I think both communities look forward to every year.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be hot, like we talked about that weather. But
They do say it does start a little bit later. They always start their home games at 7:30.
7:30.
So
Okay,
we get a little bit of a break there.
that's that old 7-4A model. I feel like we all played those 7:30 games, but look forward to it. It's gonna be fun to see us play against somebody else. Obviously, things of that nature. See these young guys and see these seniors with their chance to kind of be the focal point of what you got going on too, and kind of be the guys for us. Look forward to it as always. Hopefully everybody gets a chance to go down to the Queen, take in the game. If you can't, check in on live stream. It'll be myself and I believe Josh Anderson this year. So that'll be fun, new dynamic there. Wanted to go ahead and mention our sponsors one more time, Union Bank of Mena, Mena Insurance. I really appreciate those guys. Coach, look forward to it. Let's get it going, and 10 guaranteed weeks, and let's go further than that if we can.
Yes, sir.
So
Thank you.
we'll hope to see you guys Friday night.
Again, we would like to thank our sponsors of today's show, Mena Insurance and Union Bank of Mena.